At the end of yesterday's episode, we were going to take a little piece of blue tack and stick it on the end of this line here, just to give it a little bit of tension. And this is a little bit smaller than the last one we used, and I was wondering, will this one register on the scale, or does it weigh less than 1/10 of a gram? Okay, it zeroed itself. As you can see, it doesn't weigh anything. Okay, we've got our little weight on there. We want to make sure this is over against that one right there. And we do want to have a little bit of tension on this. Not a lot, because there's going to be 4 of them all pulling down on this thing. So I think that's about right. Let's just, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Okay, we've got our macro lens on that only rated 5 out of 6. I don't believe that. Okay, we'll let that cure. Okay, I've let about 5 minutes pass here, and I do believe we're cured here. I think it's safe to try and cut that off. Okay, I'm going to try not to get my fingers in your way here. I'm going to take this little piece of blue tack and I'm going to pull it out and go right up. No, maybe I should go a little bit more of a straight up and down angle. Okay. Okay, I'm pulling it tight. Yeah, worked okay. Now, if we had to use thread here instead of the easy line, and I was to take this and pull it out like this, it probably would break something off. But it didn't. It stretches. That's the beauty of it. Okay, let's try and do the outer one now. And then we'll do the other side, which is a mirror image to this side. I'll do that one off camera. Okay, we've got to try and get another one stuck down. I think we'll have pretty good luck. We had good luck with the last one. Got to get stuck right there. Well, let's see what's going to happen here. Is it going to go curl up again on us, or? Okay, I am dipping the end, and I am going to try and stick it right. Whoops, not there. 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 I kind of like to have that end more into that little crack where the... wonder if I can push it in, or is it too late now? Here's the end of a needle. Well, I guess it's in that position to stay. Let's just reinforce it here. I realize I've cut this piece off longer than I needed to here. Could have been about 1 inch shorter. And yes, I do know that there's 100 feet on that spool, or at least there's supposed to be. However, I don't want to waste any more of it than I need to here, because there is the possibility that I might make another ship, and if I do, I'm definitely going to want to use this. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to the end of this one. See how I feel. Now, let's get this moved out to the end here. removed a little bit of the excess off my applicator here. See if we can maybe not have it globbed on there quite so thick. Okay, now since I started using this easy line way back when we were doing the cranes a few months ago, I have probably had at least 10 people comment about using nail clippers. And I gotta be so careful here I don't accidentally cut both of those lines. Now, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Now, most of the time they don't work. And I'm going to explain why they don't work. They look sharp, they feel sharp, but really, they're not sharp. Okay, what always works with this is a slicing. If I can slice, see? And yeah, I can sort of explain why the slicing works and the nail clippers don't. And to understand it completely, you have to know what I have found that this easy line, how it's made, what it is made up of. And once you know what it's made up of, well, then you can understand why the nail clippers won't work. No, I don't need this real tight. I just want to hold these together about the same amount of tension as if I was to squeeze them to nip off a thread or something. Now, when I zoom in to what you might call almost maximum magnification here, actually I can see it better if I'm zoomed back a little bit. Okay. Now I can see here where there are gaps. In other words, some places the upper and lower jaw are touching, and some places they're not. And now I'm going to take a close look at the easy line. I'm going to see if I can fray it out, and maybe I'll dig out the other microscope and might be able to photograph it for you and show you how I have discovered that easy line is actually made. It's not solid rubber like you would think. Here we are in Corel Draw, and as you can see, I've drawn out the upper and lower jaw, sort of the way I was looking at them there. And also you can see that I've greatly emphasized the imperfections. It really wasn't that bad. This is just for demonstration purposes. Now, when we bring the two jaws together, you will see that we have little gaps. And yeah, that's our problem. I don't think there's any nail clippers that are going to be precise. Unless it's something like maybe surgical tools or something like that, then maybe you can get it. But yeah, I'm not going to be spending a lot of money on a pair of surgical scissors, which I know would probably work great. But I think I could probably make something if I want to be bothered horsing around taking the time. Anyway, let's go back out to the microscope. There's something I want to show you with toothpicks. Now, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I have a piece of easy line on this glass slide. And it is my intention to try and spread it out so that you will be able to see, under magnification that is, that it is actually made up of a whole bunch of little strands of rubber. Kind of like this, okay? Now, the way I see it is that when you try to cut it, it spreads out, and some places it will the strands will find where there's the gap between the upper and lower jaw of the nail cutter, and some don't, and they actually get nipped off. But yeah, that's why sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. Now, I have found that if I was to cut where there had been CA glue, and the CA glue had have, permeated itself all the way through, it would be like cutting a piece of wood, or like the way a bolt cutter cuts a bolt. A bolt cutter doesn't really cut a bolt. The pressure just sort of pinches it off. Yeah. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Here's a monitor that I'm looking at right there. This microscope is not set up to accept a camera. I've just got an adapter going in here into one of the eyepieces, and because the camera is so heavy, I have to be careful that I don't actually break something. I've only done this maybe 5 or 6 times, just enough to know that it doesn't do a real good job. In fact, it is pitiful. When I look through these eyepieces normally, and when I've got it swung around here, it is so sharp. Anyway, let's get the other microscope, which is designed to accept a camera, and I thought I'd give this a try, but it was just a waste of time. Now, I know that somebody's going to say to me, Ron, don't you know that a microscope like this is designed to illuminate the subject from the bottom up? And Ron will say, yes, he knows that. But we're looking at something that is comparatively large compared with what you normally look at with a microscope like this, like blood cells or something like that. Right now I have it set at its minimum magnification, which, if you were looking through the eyepieces here, would be 40 power. So that's the weakest it'll go. And we'll start off here with 40, and I'm just going to eyeball the monitor here and try and find focus on the top of that easy line. Now you can clearly see there that it's made up of more than one strand that is sort of glued together with probably some sort of spongy material. And I'm going to move into the next. Oh yeah, I started to say, yeah, the light should come from the bottom, but we want to illuminate our subject from the top here. So that's why I got this set up. Anyway, where are we here? Let's go up one power. So we'll go from 40 power to 100 power. Now I don't know if we're going to be able to see any individual little strands here or not. Because what I remember when I was looking at this a few days ago is that each one of those individual strands that you see there is made up of even smaller strands. So what I'm going to try to do is take the easy line and cut it diagonally so we can sort of see the end. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll give it a try. At least you can see that, yeah, it's not solid rubber. Well, it's solid because they're fastened together, but they will splay out, especially if you break a piece. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Okay. The slide isn't very clean, but that's okay. We're not looking at the slide. If this doesn't work, we'll give up. All right, let's see if we can find the end of this thing now. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's go up to 100 power. We were at 40. All right, now are we going to be able to see individual fibers here? Yes or no? Well, the answer is no. I suppose I could take a piece and pull it apart and break it, and maybe I'll be able to see one of those little tiny fibers that I was talking about. Okay, I'm going to try that, and then if that doesn't work, then we'll give up on this. Okay, I think I've got it. I took a piece of easy line and I pulled it apart until it snapped, and we are going to follow along to the place where it snapped, if I can here. There we are. That's the beginning of the break. Okay, it looks like it's cut there on that one piece that's hanging down, but that's the way it broke. But let's just keep watching here. You see, it's getting itself into individual little strands there. Those are the individual strands that we saw before. But if you will notice, let's see if I can focus a little better on. I'll just hang on a second here. I know I'm probably driving people crazy, but let's see if we can move in on that loop, that upper loop that is right now is in the center of our screen. Let's see if we can move in on that. I'm at 40 power, we'll move into 100 power. Okay, and can we see individual little strands here? Yes, we can. As I focus in and out. Now, that's what I was talking about, that each one of those tiny little strands is made up of even tinier ones. And every once in a while, you get to see one of those. And it is just so tiny. Anyway, enough about tiny. Let's get on with the Bismarck here. Thanks for watching. As I'm sitting here at the computer editing this out, I realized that we're going to have to call it quits for today. So I was right. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.